Hello everyone! In this presentation, our group will be discussing fecal coliform. So what is fecal coliform? Well, fecal coliform is actually a group of many different types of bacteria. E. coli is a very commonly heard of type, and most types of fecal coliform bacteria are actually harmless to humans. If the dangerous type of fecal coliform bacteria is ingested, it can cause a lot of illness. And this bacteria is typically found in the feces of humans and animals.
Several potential sources of fecal coliform in water. One source is wastewater runoff, which can contain fecal matter and other contaminants from sewage systems and treatment plants. This runoff can make its way into nearby waterways and contaminate them with fecal coliform. Another potential source is septic systems. If a septic system fails or is not properly maintained, the wastewater it produces can contain high levels of fecal coliform and other harmful bacteria. This can pose a risk to nearby water sources. Agriculture is another potential source of fecal coliform, as animal waste from farms can contain high levels of bacteria. This waste can be carried by runoff into nearby water sources and cause contamination. Birds, such as waterfowl, can also contribute to fecal coliform contamination, as their droppings can contain high levels of bacteria. This is especially problematic in areas with large populations of birds. Finally, pets can also be a source of fecal coliform, as their waste can make its way into water sources if properly not disposed of. Fecal coliform bacteria are an important indicator of the quality of water, particularly when it comes to its safety for human consumption. Their presence tells us that there is a pathway for disease-causing bacteria to enter the water supplies. In fact, fecal coliform bacteria are often referred to as indicator organisms, precisely because they can signal the presence of other pathogenic organisms that may pose a risk to public health. Furthermore, the presence of fecal coliform bacteria can also indicate the contamination of a waterway with sewage. This can occur due to a variety of reasons, such as malfunctioning septic systems or sewage treatment plants, as well as runoff from agriculture or urban areas. Therefore, it is essential to monitor fecal coliform levels in water sources and take steps to address any contamination issues that may arise.
The presence of fecal coliform contamination in water bodies leads to both human health and environmental problems. The human health hazards that you should be aware of are a risk of typhoid fever, hepatitis A, gastroenteritis, and dysentery. The environmental issues associated with this problem are that it negatively affects water bodies, it results in the death of aquatic animals and vegetation, and it leads to the use of harmful chemicals to treat fecal coliform. When it comes to the treatment for fecal coliform, filtration must be used to remove sediment before treatments. All of the treatments have their own considerations. Chlorination is effective when the source of contamination has been contained. It temporarily affects the water supply for several days, and the water should be tested 2 weeks after the chlorine odor subsides. Ultraviolet light is associated with small and effective sterilizers that can also kill other parasites and are low maintenance. However, there is no repeated treatment of the water after the initial pass through UV light. Boiling water is an effective treatment but is not long-term. It's only really practical for household purposes. Ozonation is when ozone is discharged into the water supply and has been found to be more effective as a disinfectant than chlorine. However, it is expensive. Iodination is now only recommended for short-term or emergency uses, as there is a health concern for iodine exposure. Protecting wells with sanitary well caps and grouting is a preventative measure against bacterial contamination.
In summary, fecal coliform is a preventable and treatable pathogen that provides valuable insight into a system. Although harmful strands do exist, it can reveal a much larger issue. Therefore, we should not fear it, but instead focus on proper prevention through education and management.